Google was started in this garage in Menlo Park. Meta, previously known as Facebook, is also headquartered in Menlo Park. And the very first scene of the 1975 film Escape to Witch Mountain was filmed right down this street in Menlo Park. At the start of the movie, you see the Pinewoods Welfare Department take a left onto Peninsula Avenue. The camera's hanging off the side of the car. Off to the left, you can see that fire hydrant. Where that fire hydrant is, the van takes a right. This driveway is closed. Thankfully, we're on foot. In the movie, the sign says 39 Pinewoods Lane. In real life, this is 920 Peninsula Road. The van carries our two protagonists to this large, ornate building. In the movie, it's an orphanage. In real life, this is the Peninsula School. You can even see a kid shimmying up that Corinthian column. Forget escaping to Witch Mountain, these kids are trying to escape their orphanage. The Peninsula School was founded in 1925, and it's been a private school ever since. And some of the kids that went to this school were extras in the movie. But long before this was a private school, this was the Coleman Mansion. In 1882, the mansion was designed by Augustus LeVere for Maria O'Brien Coleman. She intended to present the mansion as a wedding gift to her son James Valentine Coleman and his wife Carmelita. But the young couple never got to enjoy their new home when a revolver accidentally went off, killing Carmelita in 1885. Some claim that Carmelita's spirit still haunts this building, and there have been sightings of a silhouette wearing a green translucent gown in the attic. That's scarier than anything in Escape to Witch Mountain. Okay, enough history. Let's get back to the movie. This is where we first meet Tia and Tony Malone. They have no idea where they're from or who their parents are. In my headcanon, their dad is Sam Malone from Cheers. These two kids are secretly psychic and telekinetic. Basically, they have superpowers, very similar to 11 from Stranger Things, minus all the nose bleeding. This is where we are first introduced to Tia's star case, which we will find out in the film is actually a map leading to a mountain which will eventually be called Witch Mountain. Up here on the playground, on the baseball field, is where we see the Temu version of Danny Partridge, a redheaded kid named Chuck. He hits a home run, and Tony runs out. He chases after the ball, which should be a home run, but Tia, she uses her telekinetic powers, sending Tony way up in the air, and he catches the would-be home run. I'm not sure if this was the tree, or if that's the tree that Tony jumps in front of. In the film, there was a huge hedge right here, which might have been put there by the film. It probably was. There's a big hedge that Tony runs behind, and then he jumps way up, and he catches the ball. They did that all in one take, using wires. And then after he runs back with the ball, you see that clubhouse or whatever it is back there. You see that tree also. The tree in the foreground, though, has been removed at some time. Now Chuck, he can't believe it. He runs behind the big hedge, thinking there's gotta be a springboard or something back there. But there's nothing. And those stairs attached to the mansion, they're still there, just much harder to see now because they painted them black. Tony comes back with the ball that he caught, proud of himself, with the aid of Tia's powers. These two kids are cheaters. No wonder baseball in the 90s was called the steroid era. Canseco, McGuire, Sosa, they all grew up watching Escape to Witch Mountain. There are some cool practical effects here in the baseball field. They use wires and strings to make the baseball mitt come to life and attack Chuck. And Tony blocks Chuck's attack by levitating the baseball bat. Later on, all the kids are getting ready to go on a field trip when Chuck steals Tia's star case. Thankfully, this black cat named Winky knocks it out of his hand, then jumps on a tree that was either here or placed here for the movie, but that tree is no longer here today. So all the kids hop on the bus and they go on a field trip to nearby Palo Alto, California. The camera pans down and we see the Fine Arts Theater, which is still here to this day. Well, at least the marquee is. It's now occupied by a cat cafe and a dry cleaners. In the movie, the kids go see Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Talk about your cross promotion. I remember seeing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on a re-release back in the 1990s. This 500-seat theater opened in 1926, showing the silent film called Partners Again. It only has a 5.4 on IMDb, but this guy says it's a 10 out of 10. This place was renamed the Mayfield Theater in 1936. In 1950, it was called the Cardinal Theater. And in 1960, it reopened as the Fine Arts Theater with this cool kind of Art Deco font. As the kids are getting on the bus, Tia gets a premonition that something bad is gonna happen across the street to the car over there. Tia and Tony run across the street to tell the man named Lucas Duranian to not get in the car. As you can see, this used to be the First National Bank, then it was a Bank of the West, and now it's some kind of community center. The warden lady has to come and cross California Avenue and collect her kids. Duranian, feeling a little spooked by these odd kids, decides to walk instead of taking the car, which proved to be a good decision because the guy on the bicycle wasn't watching where he was going, and he nearly gets hit by a tow truck. The tow truck smashes into Duranian's car. Duranian realizes that there's something special about these kids. He's got to find out more about them. And speaking of special people, I just met a really nice homeless guy down here. He might be criminally insane. He told me they filmed the scene underneath this bank. I was like, what scene was that? He was like, it's the scene where they find the tea and the devil worship. And I was like, okay, thanks. Nice guy though. So Duranian follows the kids to their orphanage.
Those two children that just left, I've been trying to think of their names.
Tony Malone and his sister Tia. A couple of weirdos.
They really did film inside this school, and I tried to gain access, but the Peninsula School, they never responded to my requests. They were treating me like a redheaded stepchild. They were treating me like Chuck. Ah! So Duranian goes there claiming the kids, saying that he's their uncle.
Mr. Duranian?
Uncle Lucas, Tony. Better get used to it.
Uncle Lucas, did you tell Mrs. Grinley about the first time we ever saw you?
Oh, yes, he did. The day the tow truck ran into your uncle's car.
That was a lucky day for all of us.
So that's it, no background check, no nothing. Duranian gets the kids, and he takes them to his boss's mansion. Mr. Duranian takes the kids 1 hour and 46 minutes south to the community of Peeble Beach. Peeble Beach is on the famed 17-mile drive. It's full of wealthy homes and world-famous golf courses. This is the Pacific Grove entrance that I just came through, and it cost me $12.50 to get in here. They're super strict on drones. You can't fly any drones, and you can't even drive a motorcycle in here. I guess the sound of the motorcycle engine is a little annoying to the wealthy ears. But before they arrive here, Mr. Duranian drives by Hurricane Point in Big Sur, which means he took the long way around to get to Peeble Beach. All right, the fancy home that Duranian takes the kids to is about 3 or 4 miles away. Let's go. It had been years since I was out here, and the sea, the crashing waves, it was beautiful. I should pay that $12.50 more often. And the sunshine and all the surroundings put me in a great mood. Also along the 17-mile drive is the famed Lone Cypress. I call it the Pee Wee Herman of trees.
I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
And this is the first time I've ever been to the Lone Cypress. All by myself. All by myself. Okay, we gotta get going. The house we have to get to is just around the corner. The home we're looking for is this Byzantine-style mansion. Lucas Duranian takes the kids to this home right here. In the movie, it's called the Xantham Mansion. In real life, this was the Crocker Mansion. It was started in 1923. It took 6 years to build, and it was built by architect George Washington Smith. He designed it for his clients, Charles and Helen Crocker. Charles's family was railroad tycoons, very wealthy, and Helen's family, they started what would become C&H Sugar. But their marriage wasn't so sweet, and they divorced right before this home was completed. Helen and her second husband sold the place in 1946 for $160,000. All right, let's try and get some closer shots of this house. I'm probably gonna get the cops called on me, but let's see what happens. This fence is much taller than it looks on screen, so I have to hold my camera way above my head, but there it is, the Crocker Mansion. It looks amazing. In the movie, the rock fence is much smaller and it leads to this gate. And I believe this is the same gate just rebuilt, and I'll show you why coming up. The rock gate in the movie slopes down to an entryway, and this gate does the exact same thing. And here's the kicker, notice this security area, there's a gap between that and the rest of the gate. And today, there's still a gap between what would have been the security area and the rest of the gate. Which leads me to believe that this is the entrance from the movie. I've checked the other neighboring homes up and down the whole coast. There's nothing like this entrance. In Escape to Witch Mountain, the gate would have said Xanthus. In the movie, the mansion is owned by Aristotle Bolt. He's Duranian's boss. And they want the kids to exploit their powers or something. They don't really explain that very well. I love this big rock that's out in front of the house. And there's the big rock today. The Crocker Mansion is a Byzantine-style design, and it boasts a cloistered entry area including 45 marble pillars and approximately 10,000 square feet of interior space, with 7 master bedrooms, each with their own bath. All of the interior rooms and the hallways were filmed here, except for the playroom with all the magical dancing marionettes. That was filmed on a soundstage in Burbank. The Crocker Mansion leads us to today's trivia question. Aristotle Bolt is played by Ray Milland. Which Alfred Hitchcock movie did Ray Milland star in? It's a great movie. It's probably a top 10 Alfred Hitchcock movie. I'll give you the answer towards the end of the video. Using Google Earth Studio, we can get an aerial of the property. Here's the area where the pool's located. You see that in the movie when the kids look out the window. The kids and Winky the cat eventually escape the mansion and hop on the back of a horse named Thunderhead. So the kids and Winky escape on Thunderhead and go off down the road. Man, it's been ages since I've been to Peeble Beach, and I feel like a kid again. And speaking of kids, the 2 stars of the film went on to have pretty good careers themselves. Tony was played by Ike Eisenmann. He also starred in the sequel, Return to Witch Mountain, and in the 2009 reboot with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Race to Witch Mountain. And Tia, played by Kim Richards, was also in the Witch Mountain follow-ups, but she's probably most famous for starring in The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills from 2010 to 2015. She's also the aunt to Paris and Nikki Hilton, so she's got about as much money as Aristotle Bolt. Now, sadly, she was placed on a 5150 hold in 2024 during a period of substance abuse. But she seems to be doing okay, she's on the mend, and now she's living a nice quiet life in Florida, and we wish her well. The Gallery Cafe at the lodge at Peeble Beach is a great place to escape to. That is good. Special thanks to the supporters who bought me a coffee on my Ko-Fi link in description. You know who you are. You are keeping me energized. You're keeping the channel going. For the price of a cup of coffee, you could have fed a child in Africa for a month, or you could have bought me a coffee. And I know it's a tough choice, but I think you made the right choice. This is a great cup of coffee. It's really appreciated, and also I appreciate everybody who watches the videos, comments, and likes. You guys are great. As you may remember, Tony and Tia and Winky, they're riding on Thunderhead, escaping Aristotle Bolt's mansion, and they arrive here to Carmel Valley, California. You see this building, which is now a winery, and Tia and Tony are riding through a vast field here, which was a field back then. Now it's a housing development. This is that same angle now. You can't really see much with all the trees and brush in the way. And if you go behind all that, there's also a big wall. They get off Thunderhead right about here, and they bid him adieu. They don't explain why they ditched Thunderhead. Maybe they were tired of riding bareback. And from the air, you can see that the open field that they rode through is now a housing community. In the movie, this is a veterinary hospital. I'm not sure if that was made just for the movie or if it really was a vet hospital. I tried to look up for any historical data, but I couldn't find anything. You see another angle of this structure when Tia and Tony pop out from behind a tree. As you can see, the tree and the building are really far apart. But if I use the telephoto lens on my iPhone and step back, you can get a very similar looking shot as in the movie. Across the street is the village market, and it's still there. Same market, the same signage.
They're getting closer.
Looks like you're taking a mighty long trip, friend.
Coming out of the market is Eddie Albert. Yes, Mr. Douglas from Green Acres. In Escape to Witch Mountain, he plays Jason O'Day.
Yeah, I figured to drive all over these United States. Well, sir.
A grocery worker is helping Jason out with his groceries, and he's talking his ear off.
I can pull him out of St. Joe.
He's giving Sam Drecker vibes from Green Acres.
You're sure one well-informed man, aren't you?
Eddie Albert cannot escape the country oddballs.
Now, do you think you can hand me that carton without straining yourself, or...
When Jason O'Day, played by Eddie Albert, walks to the other side of his Winnebago, you get a good shot of the wooden Village Market sign, which is still here to this day. I just talked to the owner, nice guy. This used to be the Airways Market. It opened in 1946, and it was the first market in Carmel Valley Village. When Jason is about to leave, Lucas Duranian and his driver pull up beside him.
We're looking for 2 children, a boy and a girl, runaways.
Jason lets him know that being with 2 kids is the last thing on his mind. Then they take off down Carmel Valley Road. Then Jason takes off down Carmel Valley Road, but little does he know that Tia and Tony have stowed away in the Winnebago. The scene dissolves, and you see Jason driving the Winnebago underneath the Rocky Creek Bridge. We are now in Big Sur, and you can see the shadow of the Rocky Creek Bridge on the hillside as Jason drives towards the beach. Now, as far as I know, it is not publicly accessible to get down there, and I can't even figure out how to get down there. And it's super windy today. I gotta be careful I don't get knocked over the side of the cliff. But thankfully, if you go to Google Maps, somebody went down there with a camera. And if you look at the rocks behind Jason, this is the best lineup I can get with the photos on Google Maps. Then when Jason discovers that he has 2 kids and a cat stowawaying in the Winnebago, you can see all the rock work and hillside behind him because this was all shot beneath the Rocky Creek Bridge. If you've never driven on Highway 1 along the coast of Big Sur, I highly recommend it. It's one of the most picturesque and beautiful drives ever. Welcome to the world-famous Bixby Creek Bridge. This bridge has been seen in numerous TV shows and movies like Big Little Lies. In Big Little Lies, they got almost the exact same angle as in Escape to Witch Mountain. Everybody loved to come out here and get a shot of the bridge on this hill. They also got a shot of the bridge from the opposite side of the road. Duranian is meeting with all the local sheriffs to try and track down the 2 missing kids. When one of the sheriffs said he let a Winnebago go through earlier, so now the hunt is on for the Winnebago. But in the next scene, Jason isn't even in Big Sur anymore. We are back in Carmel Valley. Eddie Albert comes walking out of that building carrying groceries and cat food, and he walks over here to what once was a gas station, and he's getting gas for the Winnebago. We know one thing for sure, Jason O'Day, he loved to do his shopping in Carmel Valley. You can see this brick building in the film while a very nosy gas station attendant is filling up the car. He's got no chill. He kind of reminds me of Ebb from Green Acres. Forget escaping to Witch Mountain, Jason O'Day's gotta escape from this alternate dimension Hooterville. In the mirror of the Winnebago, Jason can see the attendant looking through his windows. And we can see the auto body shop in the movie, which is still here to this day.
Sure is a nice day. Not with the prices you're charging for gas.
Jason complains about the price of the gas, which goes to show you, no matter what year, no matter what decade, everybody loves to complain about the price of gas. And how much did it cost to fill up this Winnebago?
How much? $10 even.
$10! Wow, what a ripoff for 1975, I guess. So Jason, the kids, and Winky the cat, they drive off and they go up El Caminito Road. Then the gas station attendant comes inside the gas station, grabs the phone, and calls the police. The guy's a total snitch. Man, what a Karen. But as you can see in here, that's the same door, that's the same window framing. This desk, though, I believe is different. At least, I think he calls the police. There's some really weird editing right here. You see him grab the phone, start to dial, and then it cuts to the next scene. That guy could have been calling his mom for all we know. He could have been calling Popcorn to get the time. And we're immediately back in Big Sur, where a police officer is pulling over the Winnebago. They pull over at this little turnout here, which due to landslides is no longer accessible. This is the best shot I could get of it. But if you go on Google Maps and go back to 2012, you can see you could still park here at that time. And here's an even better shot from 2008. And while we're in Big Sur, remember when Lucas Duranian drove the kids over by Hurricane Point earlier in the movie? This is Hurricane Point, where they drive by, and it is a hurricane out here today. Super windy today. I gotta be careful I don't get blown over the edge. The Scorpions should play here because it is rocking me like a hurricane. Jason and the kids ditch the cop after the kids use their magic on him, and we end up back in Carmel Valley. We leave Big Sur and enter the fictional town of Longview. In real life, this is Carmel Valley again. We're about 3 minutes away from Carmel Valley Market. Parked on the side of the road here is a police officer, and he sees the Winnebago that everybody's searching for. It turns the corner right here. Jason lets the kids out right here to go look for his brother, Hiram O'Day. So after Jason sends the kids on a mission to go find Hiram O'Day, he continues down De Los Solitos Road, but he's not gonna get very far, because this is a dead-end road in real life. Lucas Duranian follows the Winnebago down the dead-end road, and we get a shot of the street sign here, which made finding this location a lot easier. I probably would have been looking all over Big Sur. I love when that happens. Tony and Tia come sneaking right around this corner. You can still see the shape of this building in the movie. So the camera pans back as the kids sneak right past here. They go past this building. There used to be a door right here. That's gone. And they get caught right about here.
Welcome to Longview.
All that sneaking around takes place behind the Carmel Valley Creamery. I love these old gas pumps. So anyways, the kids get sent to Longview Jail. And when they look out the window of the jail, they're not looking at Carmel Valley.
Hey, Tony, look.
They're looking at the town of Felton, California. When they look out the window, there's a bear in a cage right here. They never explain why the bear is in a cage outside of the police station. Despite all its rage, it was still just a bear in a cage, and Tia sets it free. And they covered the F on the sign of what used to be a bowling alley. It said Felton Bowl, but they covered the F so it says Elton Bowl. When Tony comes running around the corner, the appliance store behind him is completely gone. But the building that was next to it is still here. The kids decide to take the bear with them. There was a Shell gas station here back in the 70s. Now it's a liquor store. Tia, Tony, and the bear walk past the gas station, and they end up over by a river. We'll look for that in a minute. But they filmed some other scenes here in Felton.
Look, I know what I saw.
Here on the corner of Kirby Street and Highway 9 is where the sheriff gathers a bunch of locals and forms a militia to track down and capture Tony and Tia. The sheriff is the first person in the movie to call the kids witches.
That those two kids are witches, and they're from Witch Mountain.
Okay, I screwed up here. I didn't get the right angle. I thought this building had been demolished and rebuilt, but the more I look at it while I'm editing this, I think they just added on to the building. Duranian comes riding down Highway 9, and behind him you can see a gas station, and there's still a gas station way back there. Duranian pulls right up to the jail, and yeah, I can see that they just added on to this building. Here's a better angle of the add-ons from the air.
He's right, sir. They're from Witch Mountain Shore. Hey, Sheriff.
So all the law enforcement, the militia, and Lucas Duranian, they all go to search for the kids, and they're gonna head towards Witch Mountain. We are now in the town of Stony Creek. In real life, we're back in Big Sur. You see the Winnebago come flying down Highway 1 right here, and it takes a left and it goes way back down here.
Not too many people around, are there?
Tony and Tia and Jason come walking underneath the awning of the Stony Creek River Inn. In real life, this is the Big Sur River Inn.
Not too many people around either. Misty Valley Cooperative.
Now this part of the building that said Misty Creek Cooperative, they actually filmed in here, but it's been remodeled a bit. The original door was about right here. This place has been here forever. It actually opened up in 1934 as the Apple Pie Inn. It was the first motel restaurant in Big Sur. And two of my good friends, they got married here. Also, I might be shrinking. Behind Duranian and the goons, we get a good shot of the rooms that are for rent here at the Big Sur River Inn. Still looks very much the same today. When Jason and the kids make their escape, we see this building, which now has a coffee shop attached to it.
Hey man, come on!
This hillside, just outside of the Big Sur River Inn, is this mountain right here. I can tell it is. Which means that the river that the kids and the bear walk past is the Big Sur River. Now looking at Google Maps, the only sharp angle in the river facing that mountainside is over here by the Fernwood campgrounds. Let's go over there and see if I'm right. All right, we've made it to the Fernwood campground. If I've analyzed aerial maps correctly, the curve in the river should be down there. Hopefully they let me in. Okay, we made it into the Fernwood campsite. I only have 15 minutes. The girl said because I'm not camping here and I don't have a campsite, she's giving me 15 minutes to park and look for what I'm looking for. Guys, this is it. I found it. It only took me about 5 minutes, but I believe I have found it. It's a little harder to see now because the trees have grown in so much, it's hard to see the mountain in the background. Oh, but there it is. Yeah, I can see it. I can see the mountain.
I just hope we don't have to pass a zoo before we get where we're going.
This has not been filmed on camera in association with Escape to Witch Mountain since 1975. And that called for a celebratory dance. It is pretty amazing that the kids are out here. They had a bear out here. So cool. I mean, well, it is a forest, but that is pretty cool. That rock back there can be seen in the movie. And when they're eating dinner, they're actually eating dinner over there, and you can see this big rock, this big boulder in the movie. I'm gonna go across the bridge over here and get on the other side, and I'll show you that angle. I forgot to bring a picture of it, but we'll try the best we can. Okay guys, we made it on the other side of the river. This is where they were having dinner.
There you are. Hot chocolate?
Yep, this is the spot. Now behind Tia is that big boulder. Here, let me freeze frame it and adjust the brightness and contrast. There's that big boulder, and here it is today. It's been sitting in this river all these years. Okay, we gotta go. I'm past my 15-minute curfew. Yikes. All right, we made it to Robinson Canyon Road. The last 10 minutes of the film take place about 5 to 6 miles down this road. They even tell you the location in the movie.
We've got a fix on them, sir. Robertson Canyon headed north.
This is where the Winnebago is being chased by Duranian, the militia, and then we have Aristotle Bolt and a helicopter also chasing the Winnebago. And speaking of Aristotle Bolt, let's answer the trivia question. What Alfred Hitchcock movie did Ray Milland star in? It's a great one. It's Dial M for Murder. Top 10 Alfred Hitchcock movie. All right, let's go down Robinson Canyon Road and find Witch Mountain. It was quite the trek up here. The road is very narrow, there's lots of twists and turns, and it gets pretty steep. No wonder the Google car hasn't been up here since 2011. This is the section of road that you see looking out Duranian's front windshield.
He's not exactly crawling.
It's also the road that you see as the car is chasing the Winnebago. All right, we made it out here. I threw on a hat, it's really hot out here, I don't want to burn. Anyways, some of the practical effects in Escape to Witch Mountain are really awesome, and some of them towards the end of the movie are really bad. Case in point, this is where Tony makes the bag of flour come to life and he shoots it out towards the bad guys' cars. It looks pretty bad, but hey, it was 1975, they probably didn't have the biggest budget either. This is the road in Hillside where the bag of flour went flying through the air. Whatever you do not want to get hit with a bag of flour. And spinning around the opposite direction, you see this very tall tree up on the hill. The big tree you see in the movie is still there. Once we get past all the trees, there it is. There's that big tree you see in the movie. It's still standing watch on top of this hill 51 years later. The flour was heading for them right here on Robertson Canyon Road. All of the hillsides match up, which means that that square piece of wood on the fencing should be behind those trees. Let's go see. Is it still here? Let's see. Yep, there it is. There it is. Do you see it? There's that square piece of wood. There it is. Still here after all these years. The car went over the edge somewhere around here, but you can't see the hillside behind them anymore because of all these trees. I'm gonna have to go further down to show you. Actually, let me show you from the air because there's too many trees. This hillside right here can be seen behind them when they drive over the edge. So Duranian and the militia take off after the Winnebago, and eventually Duranian takes a private side road that runs parallel to Robertson Canyon Road. This road right here. There used to be a dirt road right here, but that's no longer there. All right, we made it to where Duranian and his driver tried to block off the kids and the Winnebago by parking their big black car right here across the road. As they drive closer and closer, Jason tries to put the brakes on, but nothing's happening, it won't brake. And the Winnebago lifts off the ground. This is the same metal gate. You can see this little metal tab at the top of the gate. You can see this little part where this little screw section attaches to that. Yep, that's the same metal gate. It's been out here all these years. This was 12 years before Spaceballs. This was the first time a Winnebago took flight on film. Mel Brooks must be an Escape to Witch Mountain fan. And the Winnebago lands on top of Witch Mountain. Alright, the entrance to Witch Mountain, it's actually on a private road. I'm gonna try and see if I can get in. I'm just gonna ask them if I can go on the Pinion Trail, see if they'll let me in. I don't know. Let's give it a try. Blast, there's nobody to talk to here. They want a gate code. I was hoping I could talk to somebody. Well, instead of escaping to Witch Mountain, looks like we're gonna have to break into Witch Mountain. Let's figure out something else. There it is, Witch Mountain. Walking out of a bunch of trees is the kid's long-lost uncle, Uncle Benet, and he runs towards the kids. The trees that he walks out of are these trees right here. Behind them, you can see this curved road and the peak of Witch Mountain. In real life, this is Pinyon Peak in Carmel Valley. Uncle Benet was played by Denver Pyle, who's most famous for playing another uncle, Uncle Jesse, from the Dukes of Hazzard. Poor guy was typecast.
You'll see how we came into this world of yours.
Aristotle Bolt's helicopter had landed upside down, up on the hill also, and off to the left you can see this hillside behind them. But Duranian and Bolt, they're too late. The kids and their uncle, they take off in a flying saucer. It takes off behind the same set of trees that Uncle Benet popped out of earlier. The movie ends with Jason and Winky excited and happy that the kids are finally reunited with their family and heading home. Guys, we did it. We went over the hill. It was a little scary. My drone is out there. I could not see it with my own eyes. It's not the prettiest footage I've ever gotten, but we did it. We found Witch Mountain. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Is this where they filmed the ending to the movie? Could be. There's an old tree that has fallen over now. The hillside is pretty similar. That could be the final shot in the movie. Anyways, guys, I gotta make my escape and go home and edit this video. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.